My name is Gareth. I'm the Lost Island. We're on the TheXboxHub channel, and we are playing today the Innsmouth something. I've forgotten the name of it. I can see Innsmouth later. Okay. Anyway, that's gone well. We are fans of the strange world of Innsmouth, but we recognise the problematic beliefs of H.P. Lovecraft. This game is produced by a group of people who believe in inclusion and equality. The Innsmouth Mystery, I think it's called. I'll have a quick look, but no. No, it's not that. Let's just go. Okay. I think it's like a text adventure. Ooh. Last rays of sunshine filter through the blinds of your empty office. Pathetic stench of whiskey, cold cigarette smoke, and canned ravioli fills the air. The screeching tires and constant beeping of a car horns out there on the street tell you that it's gone 8 p.m. People are on their way home, finishing their day. You should join them. Okay, I will do. I think we should stay at our desk. Now go home. Breathe a deep sigh, and maybe a successful day when this is over. Look forward to a classic Friday night watching a mystery series at home in sweatpants and getting drunk on cheap booze. Yeah, that's a good night. Since the early afternoon, you've been staring at the foreboding bottle of liquor at the other end of the room. Until now, a vague sense of professionalism has kept you from drinking yourself into oblivion. Now nothing stands in the way. Suddenly you hear someone at the door. Yes, there it is. The door slowly cracks open with a timid creak. The unknown guest pauses. Then in a breathy and melodic tone you hear a woman utter, "It's in the real office." Go on, right. I love the animation. But the light leaves less now see more than a silhouette. A breathtaking woman lights up in the office. No doubt older than 40, maybe even 50, hard to say. Clad in black, a skin-tight dress, culminating in a delicate that seems to defy the laws of gravity. Smoky eyeshadow, as dark as algae washed ashore, blonde, coffered, wavy hair, grey. The faint light of the setting sun catches in the strands of her hair, and you wonder how many heads this woman must have turned during her prime. Usual customers, bankers with sweat stains over their armpits, convinced their wives there's something going with the mailman. Every move she makes is a calculated grace. Smooth as an eel, she walks towards you and sits down on the corner of their desk. Which is a little bold. Without asking you first, but as a professional, you're not giving anything away. She's an active damsel in distress, the quiet conscience is pleased that this stranger may be sharing your enthusiasm for film noir cliches. A far louder voice is surprised that this woman's sexy pose and revealing clothes could win you over. And both voices agree they don't like being manipulated. I don't think the stranger perched on your table is trying to recover from a hard-working day as a lingerie model, and therefore you see no logical reason for her behaviour. As she begins to speak, her voice is smoky and full of promise. My name is Delilah Marsh. I'm looking for a private investigator. I was told you're one of the best. It's tense out. Yes, it's David. We come to the right place now. What can I do for you? You sit back in the chair and fold your hands over your stomach. The woman seems a little irritated that her provocative behaviour seems to have no effect on you. She moves from the edge of the desk and sits down on the chair opposite you. She clears her throat. And as she continues to speak, the smoky seductiveness creeps back in her voice. My name is Delilah, I need help. Ask for more details. It's about my daughter, Tabitha. She has disappeared. You're putting out your paper and pen. It's been a walk in the park. A walk in the kidnapped kids park. Well, when did you see her? And where? The woman puts on a fake smile. You live in Innsmouth, a small port town north of Arkham. You frown. This is a bit vague. What was your child doing when you saw her last? What hobbies did she have? Oh, you know. Kids stuff. They just run around and they play with their yo-yos, that sort of thing. Delilah nervously combs her hand through her hair. What about her father? Let's get straight. I think I'm too tired to read all this. What about Tabitha's father? Are you separated? Often children reappear as family members. Delilah smiles sadly. The little one can't swim well enough for that yet. The pen remains in the same spot on the notepad. What is that supposed to mean? Dig deeper. Excuse me, but I'm struggling to find the right words to respond to such a quick mistake. What the hell do you mean by that? The kid can't swim enough. Delilah turned up her nose. She doesn't seem comfortable asking personal questions. Still, she responds, just an old saying in our village. She smiles. It doesn't reach her eyes. Oh. See, this is something to do with Lovecraft, the whole, if you don't know the kind of like stuff, it's all about basically fish, human hybrids, creatures coming up from above and living on the earth. So I think that's what she means. Delilah turns her gaze away from you and looks dreamily and longingly out the window. Her father was a fisherman, like most in the village. A few years ago went out to sea but never returned. His boat was washed ashore weeks later. His colleagues told me that if he finally followed the call of the waves, he kept quiet for a moment. Deceased family member was always a sensitive subject. My sincere condolences. She seems calm. Well, somehow I always knew that moment would come. I think my husband is in a better place now, and at some point, I'll join him. I take a closer look at Delilah's outfit. Judging by her behaviour and clothes, you never would have taken her to be a fisherman's wife. More detail of the case. Does your daughter have any friends she might be staying with, classmates, sports club members, anything like that? Delilah silently shakes her head. Very strange, you're about to ask the girl at least have imaginary friends, but you hold back. Yo-yos? What a news. You mean, can you hear that? It's the 90s calling over their outdated toys back. Delilah blushes. Normally you find this quite attractive, but the case of a missing girl becomes when you're utterly unconvinced by the way the woman tends to be a mother. Confront her. Something's fishy here. You're known for this sort of thing. That's why you became a private investigator. Ultimately, both sides. That's why you took an online detective course over a one-off fee providing the necessary qualification. Time to take your visitors to task. We get out of the chair. Innsmouth is several miles away from here. Why do you want to hire me? I can even hire myself. Delilah crossed her arms. Do you care how? Do you want to be paid or not? But right now I just want the truth. You're sticking to your principles. That's exactly what the instructor warned her about. Still, it feels good. Delilah takes a step back and releases her tightly crossed arms. I've already tried loads of other investigators. Anyone to seem trustworthy really, but no luck. That's why I'm coming to you. Accept the case. You nod. Mrs. Percy's case, nothing unusual. The convention on little girl runs away from home after reading her first romance novel. Usually they hide at the edge of the forest or in a library. Should be pretty straightforward. Before she can say anything, she drops a photo of a child and a roll of bills on your desk for your expenses. You nod slowly, trying to draw down the front of your shirt. You've seen this much money in ages. You don't have much time to prepare. A quick search reveals there's only one bus goes to Innsmouth, and only once a day. A pattern emerges in your research. The few news items related to a little coastal town are all about missing persons. In addition, you find some rather old-fashioned articles that praise the coastal town as a secret holiday destination. The best fish, untouched beach promenade, authentic fishing people, other recurring buzzwords. Delilah has given you the address that you're supposed to drop off her daughter as soon as you find her. She also wrote down a phone number and a child's photo. Take another look at the picture before you pack your things. The next morning you travel by bus. Hey. I like this, the writing's really good. Your journey begins at a busy bus station. There's supposed to be a bus line that departs from here to Innsmouth. Buses, you think to yourself, are not only environmentally friendly means of transport, they're also easy on the wallet. Sadly, the departure boards aren't of much help. New York, Maine, Rhode Island, no trace of Innsmouth as the destination. You wander around for a while until you notice a cleaner eating a sandwich on the side of one of the vending machines. So what's the cleaner? Excuse me, when can I find the bus? Without letting go of his sandwich, the cleaner points to an abandoned counter in the dingiest corner that a public bus station can be capable of. The man gives you a nod, indicating that anything that can be said can indeed be said. You found that the counter is elaborately decorated with goalposts. It's a bit early for Halloween preparation, but at least someone's made an effort. At this moment, nobody seems to be there. You'll press your face against a plastic window and appear into the room behind. Hello? Hello, is anyone there? I have to go to Innsmouth. No one there. And suddenly, out of nowhere, a bus ticket appears on the counter. Might the trip be free? Yoink. In all likelihood, the ticket was already on the counter and you simply haven't noticed it before. Someone must have paid and just left it there. That's what you tell yourself while you're looking for a departure gate with the ticket in your hand. Where's this bus hiding? In between the polished greyhounds and travellers stowing their luggage, saying goodbye and dropping entirely into the seats, there's a kind of dumpster. A dumpster with windows and wheels. No, it's actually a bus. It's a bit on the rusty side, and even from the distance you sense the strange smell it emits. Is that sulphur? You're not convinced how this thing is supposed to drive. In its vicinity, everything is supposed to be quieter than the other bus stops. The people get on and show motion. Nobody's trying to jump the queue here. Instead, the passengers move past the bus driver at uniform speed, one after another, shuffling up the creaking steps. Each two-seater bench is occupied by individuals, as they want to make sure not to come into contact with their fellow passengers. The sign clearly says Innsmouth. No departure time, no stopovers, just Innsmouth. You hand the driver no reaction. At least you can't make out a reaction. The lighting is poor and the shadow of his dusty driver's cap covers almost the entire face. You notice something strange on his neck, but you can't quite make out what it might be. You're standing in the door, waiting for an okay, a nod, anything. The sulphur odour has increased, the queue has formed behind you. No one is pushing or complaining. Is there something you want to tell the driver? Innsmouth, you ask carefully. The driver nods his head towards the aisle. The international language for just keep walking, moron. You shuffle sideways through the centre aisle. You don't remember the bus looking this long from the outside. You're surrounded by shabby two-seater benches and some already occupied. One traveller per row. The last bench is free. Looks like the upholstery is torn in some places though, or has it been slit open? You see springs with sharp white edges and some sticky liquid seems to be leaked onto the floor. Why don't you just sit down one of the free rows? Here in the back almost everything is occupied. Most of the passengers seem to be purposely sat down, the arm seats blocking off the window seats. Maybe this is an opportunity to get a little closer to the common Innsmouth visitor. As a nonconformist, you join one of the passengers in a double seat. Since only one man was so considerate as to sit at the window, your options are limited anyway. As far as you can tell, the man is a haggard figure with barely any luggage. The hood of the grey jumper pulled far onto his face, the man looks out onto the street. There's something very important is happening there that requires his attention. Is his seat taken? You ask politely. He turns his head and gives you a brief once over. Animation is good. Without saying a word, he turns away again. Alright, there wasn't a no either. You sit down and regret it instantly. The smell of sulphur is now overpowered by something else. Something that smells like it's been in the sun for too long. You're trying to get a glimpse of what's under the hoodie. Does this person have a genetic defect? Is he malnourished? You're not exactly sure what the problem might be, but you're trying to stay professional. You awkwardly stare at the headrest of the person in front of you. The chance to get some inside information. But it's worst. You clear your throat before you speak, twitching with a slight tremor, and the man turns to you. Excuse me, I'm visiting Innsmouth for the first time. Do you happen to come from there? A twitch is all you get. Maybe you should get right to the point. Hard to tell if you're boring him. Does Innsmouth have any sights? The neighbour stares into the middle distance. Is he thinking? The silence between the two of you is hardly bearable. The beach, he finally stutters. Your eyes meet again. The old town, he adds. Well, that could have gone worse. The small talk has been gruelingly slow as you decide to let it go. This ride is taking forever. The bus leaves the country road and turns off at a wooden sign that says Innsmouth in red, flaky letters. The journey continues rather bumpily along a narrow dirt road littered with numerous potholes. In the distance, some houses are already visible. Seagulls circling the roofs of the outermost edge of the city. Slowly, all passengers take their bags out from under the seats and get ready. Curious, you look through. That's odd. The bus passes by a huge, what is this, a scrapyard parking lot? What would something like this be here right outside the city? You pass another wooden sign whose half-peeled writing advertises the Innsmouth Park and Ride area. Other cars that have been sitting there for years. Sand covers some of the bonnets and windscreens. The front door of the bus opens and squeak. You join the monotonous lines of locals stepping out of the bus within a daze. Almost walking in step, you get closer to the exit. And as you walk down the steps, you have to protect your eyes from the sunlight. Turns out the windows of the bus were tinted. The other passengers shuffle off. There we go. That's all hotting up. A little break for a second. The writing's great. Here we go. Are we sitting comfortably? Should we start again? Finally, Innsmouth. You examine your surroundings while you stretch your legs trying to unwind from the stressful journey. No artist could have adequately captured the serenity and beauty of this place. A clear blue sky lights up the town square, which is paved with a bright landscape surrounded by neo-colonial buildings reminiscent of 19th century New England. A fresh sea breeze carrying seagulls and locals going about their business. In the centre of the square, water trickles from a fountain, and as you stretch your limbs and breathe in the clean air, you're suddenly startled by the water feature right in front of you. The fountain is an enormous fish-like brass creature, an open jaw lined with shark-like fangs sprouts brackish water down its massive, inhumanly contorted body. And if that wasn't enough, there appears to be human bodies squirming underneath its massive claws. Their faces are as contorted as yours is right now. How long have you been standing there? Eyes wide open in shock, you feel utterly paralyzed. You start to scan the town square and notice more and more disturbing details. On every corner you spot ornamental statues and reliefs of fish. These are not your classic harmless kind of fish. These are pagan symbols and grimaces of supernatural creatures from the darkest crevices of the deep sea. In surrounding houses, you can see faces pressed against the windows. All the locals appear to be watching you. You suddenly start to think that the cries of seagulls sound particularly human-like. They sound like humans crying out in pain. What happened to the idyllic scene from a few minutes ago? Welcome to Innsmouth. Welcome to Innsmouth. How nice of you to visit. A small, elderly woman waves at you from afar. She beams at you as if you were a long-lost grandchild. You seem very different to the boys you met so far on the bus into town. A squealing shakes you out of your nightmare panic. So good to have you here. I noticed you were very taken by a local fountain. It was built in 1704 by Abdul Necrotus, favourite artist and friend of Charles Dexter Tellinghast, the founder of Innsmouth. The central figure was present and is supposed to their travels together to Cairo. You will clearly see the Egyptian influence in Necrotus' work here and here. She bumps wildly in every direction. And here, but I'm sure you already noticed this yourself. You look like someone who knows his way around art, she says with a wild smile. You're still in shock. Who the hell are you? Of course I'm not introduced myself. I'm ever so sorry. In front of you now stands a small, plump person in a tasteless costume. Your rudeness doesn't seem to curb her enthusiasm in the slightest. My name is Muriel Poopingplace. I'm the director of the Parks Commission, chief tourism officer, and head of the Welcome Committee. Ta-da! Behind Muriel is a ramshackle wooden information stand, lovely decorated with balloons. A colourful painted sign reads, "Welcome to Innsmouth." Muriel tiptoes over to her information stand and picks up a whole load of flyers and leaflets from the rickety display cases. She looks down at all the paper in her arms and briefly shrieks with laughter. My goodness, why don't you take the city map to begin with? Useful. You take the map and put it into your coat pocket. Would you like to find out more about our wonderful town, which has been awarded the East Coast Stunning Town Award for several years in a row? Let's get showing on. Muriel claps her hands excitedly and squeals. She begins unfolding one of her maps and points out 3 different locations in town. The town centre here should be the next stop in your trip. There's a lively up-and-coming shopping street in Innsmouth, and since May our local fountain has had real running water. Muriel starts waving her index finger at you. I know what you're thinking. This town has been too showy for its own good, but I can assure you we've all kept our feet on the ground, even after the whole thing with the East Coast Stunning Town Awards. Her finger now points to a different area on the map. The old town of Innsmouth is completely preserved. You think nothing was ever done to the facades of the old houses. Within 4 miles of here, you won't find any new builds. The face has unwillingly slipped an expression of mask due to the sheer boredom of it all. And then, Muriel points to the coastal line on the map, the amazing beach promenade, a dreamy beach with a bar that serves all the drinks your heart desires. I hope you brought enough stress with you, because at the beach, pure relaxation awaits you. Thank you. Thanks ever so much, man. Muriel seems delighted. Nothing gives me more pleasure than ensuring visitors have a great time in our pretty little town. You'll be staying for a few nights. I can only recommend staying as long as you can. There's just so much to see. Trust me, by the end of the stay, you won't want to leave. 1 week. Oh, how wonderful. Here, take this coupon for the Gilman Hotel. Here you'll find luxury 19th century flair and expect a sophisticated service. Among its guests, the hotel has counted heads of state from faraway countries, Hollywood celebrities, world-famous pop stars, as well as 2 former presidents. Just how researching that Muriel sends you. Muriel winks at you and hands you another colourful flyer. You've had enough now. You point at your wrist while backing away. Still so much to see, you know. Thanks again. Thanks ever so much for everything. Muriel's eyes move past you and settle right behind you. It seems that the flick of a switch she's back to her gleeful demeanour, bounce over to the family waving her brochures. You head further into town, along the cobbled road in the direction of the coast. Not long ago the sun was bright in the sky, but already the first wafts of mists are creeping into the streets. The air feels thicker and the sun can no longer penetrate the fog. Time to think about where you want to go. You slow down, you lean your briefcase against a wall, pacing up and down the quiet alleyway. You've got an important choice to make right now. The city centre is in the north. Even from afar you can see the outlines of the old, ornately decorated buildings in the main town square. Here you should find the police station, the main shopping street, and of course the town hall. As a coastal town, Innsmouth also has a harbour. From your research, you found out this bustling area was a dreamy beach. You expect there to be mostly tourists. According to your research, the only hotel in town, the Government Hotel, is located in the old town. You think about checking in. You could do is freshening up and get rid of that bus smell that's still clinging to your clothes. And just as you're about to set off, your heart leaps into your throat. You've forgotten your briefcase. This has never happened to you. You usually take good care of the little you possess. There's nothing you can do about it now. You have to wait until you return and only find out whether someone has handed it in at the lost and found. Still, you could swear that briefcase was already gone when you got off the bus. Yeah. You recognise its roof from afar, and after a long walk, it is now before you in its full splendour, the Gilman Hotel. At least it's easy to see that it once must have been a gorgeous building. The hotel resembles an old English country estate, but in its present state it would have been suited as a setting for a very predictable film about teenagers and chainsaw killers. Wild and withered ivy has a firm grip on the walls and obscures the details of the richly decorated facade. A gallery of gargoyles, melted into unreal shapes by acid rain and acidic pigeon droppings, lines the roof. The many window panes have been neglected for years. Only in a few places has a small area been wiped clean in order to see outside. There are 2 cars in the parking lot. A vintage car with large rust spots and a large grey van. You look around again just to make sure that people who own the cars aren't hiding somewhere with a shotgun at the ready. The coast is clear. First you walk over to the antique car. Well, you're not an car expert, but the car looks antique to you anyway. Both seats inside are made of white leather, a bit tacky. You turn away from the antique car and look towards the van. No writing on the side, a regular registration plate. The windows on the front blacked out. Hang on. You have a brainwave. Maybe this is the van in which poor Patata had been pulled when she was kidnapped, when she was lured to her awful fate by sweets and lollipops. Of course, it all makes sense. In all likelihood, you just managed to find the actual kidnapper, the seed of all that is evil and wrong in the case. And all you had to do was book a hotel room and stare at cars. You're a natural. Now all you need is some proof. Of course, whatever you're looking for must be in the back of the van. Excitingly, you walk around the van. This is a good idea. Sadly, the door is not open. That would have been truly lucky. Full of optimism, you try the handle to see if the door has been left unlocked. There's notable resistance when you turn the handle. Damn, you won't get in without the car key. A brilliant idea. Your brain is running at full speed, while contemplating itself with ingenuity. A good day indeed. I'm going to do that. All your heroes from the 80s and 90s action movies get right into it. They have to collect evidence. Yet in order to expose a child trafficking ring, an investigator sometimes has to operate within grey areas of the law, whether they like it or not. And you're all for it. so much that you lift your arm up high and smash it right into the window. Silence. There's a short muffled noise when your elbow hits extremely resistant window glass. Then silence. In agonizing pain, you stagger back from the still intact window, and soon you start jumping around in a circle, cursing Bruce Willis's manly biceps. It feels as someone has wrapped barbed wire around your arm. That could have gone better. You roll up sleeve, little red dots already begin to cover your elbow. That's going to be ugly for a while. Congratulations. You almost crippled yourself. The pain in your arm still throbbing and slowly fading has ruined your mood. Stupid, ugly car. Slowly cracks appear in your reasoning. Aren't these kind of handyman cars often park in front of hotels when they're performing maintenance jobs? You've stayed in the parking lot long enough. You don't want anyone else to call the police on you. You should just go in and book your room. That was rubbish work. You really hope the inside of the hotel has been looked after a little better than the outside. But you're quickly disabused of that notion. The massive wooden door is difficult to open. Shouldn't the staff be doing this anyway? With a loud creaking sound from the hinges and an exhausted puffing and panting on your part, you managed to open the door and enter the lobby of the Gilman Hotel. You wondered if guests are even welcome in this place. The room is sparsely lit. There are impressive chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, which, if working, will perhaps not quite give the grand hall back its original splendour, but at least convey more warmth. Your first steps tell you that there are rotten floorboards hiding under the thick carpet. The green wall panelling and wallpaper also appear rotten and musty. Before you let yourself be distracted by the questionable interior design and the associated health issues, you walk purposely towards the reception desk. A small, greenish creature stands behind the counter. The loudly humming ceiling lamp above harshly illuminates his silhouette and gives his face hard edges. You can make out every individual speck of dust and dandruff on his dark green velvet collar and crooked shoulders. Maybe they should be dimming the lights after all. The figure stares at you, or perhaps it's more like a grin, his face unset as you leaned forward at an angle to get a better look at him. The corners of his mouth reach all the way up to his dried up ears. His smile looks like it's painted on. His beady eyes lie deep in the cavity of his skull and he seems to stare into opposite directions. Has he even blinked yet? And on top of it all, he smells funny. How may I help? You're startled and take a step back. Welcome to the Gilman Hotel. My name is Cornelius Gilman III. How may I ever be of service to you? The man's gaze remains unchanged, and his unnatural smile seems to be etched into his face. You're still surprised he can talk with that expression on his face. Just a moment ago, I would have sworn he was an inanimate puppet. I'd like to book a room, please. He began and managed to blurt out, in a different hotel. Perfect. The Gilman Hotel is delighted to be able to welcome you as its guest. May I ask whether you're in Innsmouth for business or pleasure? How long will you be staying with us? Would you prefer a view towards the beach or the skyline of a very exciting town? When would you like to be woken up? Do you sleep deeply? Are you travelling alone? Do you have family? Who knows that you're here? Can I interest you in our spa, fitness and wellness activities? Would you like to subscribe to our newsletter? How long can you hold your breath? Oh, that is. Who knows? Are we there now? Can I go to my room? The concierge expression doesn't change a tiny bit from the duration of your conversation, let alone did he blink. Thank you very much. That was all I needed to know. All you need to do is sign here. He tilts his strangely shaped head over to the guest register. Sadly, we're all booked up this season. There's only one spare room. Here's your key for room 666. Enjoy your stay. You look at the key which has magically appeared on the counter. Then your eyes slowly wander past the man to the wall where countless other keys are hanging. Let's go to our room. You look at a golden panel with the layout of the different rooms and floors. Room 666, there it is, 4th floor, left wing of the building. You walk up the stairs to the upper floors, but you can still feel the eyes of the concierge on you. Panting, you finally reach the floor. An almost endless corridor spreads out in front of you. At the other end, you can see a figure who seems to be as lost as you are. The building looks much smaller from the outside. You walk down the corridor when you notice the figure approaching you. Your brain is mentally preparing itself for benign hotel small talk. But wait, it's you. You walk a bit further and realise you're standing in front of a mirror. That's why the corridor is so vast. The mirror marks a fork. According to the room numbers, your room should be further on the left. In the corridor towards the right, you can see a small yellow sign on the floor. Maintenance. After 2 more confusing turns and a giant mirrors, you reach room 666. Finally, you're going to drop your stuff and take a nap. Good plan. Of course, the door resists being open. You jerk the key back and forth in the lock until you hear a satisfying clicking sound. A soothing warmth hits you as you enter the room. Immediately, the synapses in the brain switch into the energy-saving mode. The trip to Innsmouth has probably taken more out of you than you had thought. You don't even notice the rest of the room. The sight of the bed makes you yearn for a little shut-eye. Your hand glides over the tightly pulled bedspread. No dust. That's a good sign, right? You carefully sit down on the edge of the bed just to make sure the mattress doesn't explode upon contact. You're delighted that there's no explosion. You take off your coat and shoes and stretch out on the bed. A mild but all-encompassing pain that you hadn't noticed before melts off your spine. Everything is warm and pleasant and you feel free and weightless. Young people call this a power nap. You close your eyes for 10 minutes. Then you'll be ready for the rest of the day. Sounds completely convincing. You close your eyes and snooze away. You transition fluidly in your dreams. You just close your eyes and you're already somewhere else. Suddenly your worries are very different. You're running in a desolate grey maze, winding alleys. You can hear the cheerful laughter of a small child. If only you could catch up, you'd save the child and take them home to safety. You sprint down the path and turn around the corner and then another. The alleyway stretches in front of you, but there's no person to be seen anywhere. What's that? Is that a shadow at the corner of the street back there? A silhouette of a figure? The figure in the distance will already disappear around the next corner. Maybe you can still catch up again. The alleys wind through the town in confusing ways. Nothing makes sense anymore. Whenever you move, you never arrive in the place you expect. Cheers, but surely you're walking right into the jaws of a massive monster. And all of a sudden, the wall is closing on you and the path becomes so narrow that you have to walk sideways in order to fit through. Whatever is behind you is getting closer. You squeeze yourself further down the narrow pathway. The walls are now so close you start to tug and scrape on your clothes. The backs of your hands start to burn because you keep scraping them on surprisingly sharp edges on rough bricks. Carefully but swiftly you walk along the alleyway. It almost seems to you as if the walls are built so your body and your body alone could pass through it. The way ahead seems to become narrower. Carefully you move backwards. It's not easy. The darkness in front of you is like a magnet pulling you towards it. It would be much easier for you just to give in to it instead of moving away from it. You jerk away. The narrow alleyway in front of you opens its large jaws. You can't really believe that you chose to walk down that path early. Something cold winds itself around your neck. You've forgotten all about it. It was waiting for you. Panting. You wake up. In one panic moment, you throw the blanket off the bed. What a nightmare. At least it's over now. You're room is still plunged into a greenish light from the moon. It's still the middle of the night. You approach the window, and even from the distance the light of the moon blinds you. Everything is bathed in an green shimmer. The stately houses across the hotel and the neglected wildly grown hedges on the sidewalk. The mob armed with torches looking up into your room. The what? Right, I'm going to leave it there. That's good. It's great. It's just great to read a story. Brilliant. Thank you very much for listening to the Story Hour with me, the Lost Island, Gareth Briney, and thank you for being on the TheXboxHub channel. Please like and subscribe. Have a look down below, and you can see other Let's Plays and unboxings. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.